Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Good morning, fellow Gambians. Just raise a question, and the question is this Honorable Seedy Njie a threat to our national security? I'm just asking because the reason why I ask this question is that in the Gambia, Seedy Njie is number 4 executive member in the country, and he has a role to play in that country. He has a responsibility. He has an authority. So it's not Seedy Njie himself, it's the position and the office he holds, which is very, very important. I think it is high time for most of the Gambian position holders to undergo a training so that they could understand their individuality and the office that they hold. Because we could see even our president, that is Adama Barrow, the office he holds is the president of the office, president's office. It is the highest office in the country. But do he really respect that office? No, because he doesn't know. He doesn't know the functions. He doesn't know the responsibility. So to blame him here, I think we the Gambians need to blame ourselves. Because we are putting people into offices, and then we know that these people are not capable of running this office. He nasistangi kondo sa yom famatela bage man. Famatela nge kondo bag. So Seedy Njie is the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. How does these responsibilities works in the Gambia? One, you have the President, you have the Vice President, you have the Speaker of the House, and the Deputy Speaker. So Seedy Njie is the number 4 in that country, the Gambia. So he has an authority, he has a power. But did Seedy Njie deserve to have that position in the first place? That is a big no, because Seedy Njie has no moral, he has no ethics, he doesn't have that educational background. So the only thing why Seedy Njie is there, the president selects Seedy Njie to go to that position only to mess up. Only to mess up. The president knows what he was doing by selecting Seedy Njie and putting him into that position is only to mess up. Nothing. And Seedy Njie is doing that role. He's messing up because he doesn't know the authorities that he has. He doesn't know the powers he has. He doesn't know the functions of that office. This is why he doesn't care. Wherever he goes, he can lie just to satisfy his boss. He can incite violence just to satisfy his boss. So we the Gambians now, we have to look into ourselves. When we go back to the history of the Gambia Civil Service during the time of the First Republic, we have a very, very good civil service. Although there were not much of people who have master degrees, who have PhD degrees. But at least these people were ethical and they have moral. And secondly, they really know what their functions are. And this is why countries like Sierra Leone, countries like Ghana, countries like South Africa, they were sending their civil servants to Gambia for a civil service training. Imagine, Sierra Leone has a university more than so many years ago. Talk less of Ghana, talk less of South Africa. the countries that their people are well more educated than Gambia. But still, they will send their civil servants to the Gambia for a job training and a civil service training. We have to give this credit to Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara and his administration. Some of the ministers during the time of Jawara, may his soul rest in perfect peace, during the time of Sir Dawda, some of the ministers, they just stopped at these standard schools. For example, they didn't even go to college, most of them. But they are people who understand the job, and secondly, they have ethics and moral. This is what is lacking in Seedy Njie. He have no respect, no ethics. He is not educated. He have no moral. So he thinks that he can say anything as long as he is near the corridor of powers, so everything is okay for him. So this is the problem that Gambia has found itself, and it is not Seedy Njie, it is the person who selected Seedy Njie, because he is not elected, he is selected. So, in the context, now, what are the responsibility of Seedy Njie? He is a nominated National Assembly member. And in the Gambia, the funniest thing is, the nominated National Assembly members are more powerful than the elected National Assembly members, because the nominated National Assembly members will comprise of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. And the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, these are administratively, they are the head in that institution. So Seedy Njie happened to be a head in that institution, whereby we have to make our laws in that institution. So, secondly, in the National Assembly, there are committees. You have to belong to certain select committee. I have listened to iAfrica TV. Hold on. Sorry. In the National Assembly, they have committees. And these committees, I have listened to the to iAfrica TV. The argument was there whether Seedy Njie, the alteration that he made on UDP, the accusation, the lies, because we have never seen UDP, we have never seen UDP recruiting people or giving them arms to go to other towns and villages, intimidate people with this arm, telling them you have to support this party, and or asking them their documents. This is the biggest lie. If Seedy Njie has ethics and morality, he would have just resigned from the National Assembly, and then they bring him to court, let him rot in prison. Because this is a very serious allegation. This allegation is definitely very serious. If you check it in the context of law, it will be categorized as felony. And felony, you could be sentenced from 7 years or more. So it's a serious allegation, and it's a serious crime. So now, the National Assembly member for Foni, I think Keba Tumanding, said that the Seedy Njie might have this immunity because he doesn't understand. Keba Tumanding also doesn't understand. He does not understand. The immunity that Seedy Njie has in this is if he says this in the floor of the National Assembly. In the floor of National Assembly, he has the immunity there if he says this. But where did he say this? He said this in a radio station. He said this in a cap, not being a National Assembly, but in a cap of NPP. So this is what for Kebatu Manding doesn't understand. So Seedy Njie, at the floor of the National Assembly, yes, he could say it there because he has an immunity. But in this manner, he doesn't have an immunity. So UDP can drag him to court for justice to prevail. Number two, Seedy Njie belongs to a committee, a very sensitive committee. We have all seen when the selection of that committee was coming, there was a heated debate in that committee that he does not have a security background. Let them give Honorable Mohamed Kante the responsibility of that. Greetings, my brother. Greetings. Nye kondon sangola sangaba min keta gunjuru. Nye kondon sehola sangola bake me gunjuru ko be kondonal. This committee was about national security and defense. National security and defense. Now, because of the National Assembly is too polarized and partisan, because the NPP dominated the National Assembly, they forcefully put Seedy Njie into that position. Now, look, so all those National Assembly members who decided that Seedy Njie supposed to be the head of that honorable and a very sensitive branch of the government, the National and Defense Security Committee, for Seedy Njie to head that. I think the National Assembly, the majority leader, need to reconsider and then remove Seedy Njie from this position and put a very honorable and a person who has a security background. Seedy Njie doesn't have a security background. What is Seedy Njie's qualification? I heard that he was going to Gambia University, but he never completed his course. Because during the time of Jammeh, I think Jammeh was sponsoring him. I'm not sure, but this is what I heard. So, this is, I would not say this is something concrete. It might be not be true, or I can say allegedly. So, because Seedy Njie doesn't understand the kind of word and lies he said, this could incite a serious violence. I don't care. If he is trying to camouflage some of the tribes, it is their business. They have to know by themselves very well whether what Seedy is saying the truth or he is lying. Because in the Gambia, which community or which family you will go that there is no other different tribes there. You are a Mandinka, your family member will be married to a Jola, to a Wolof, to a Fula, to a Sarahule or whatsoever. Although in the Gambia still it is there, some tribes, if you want to marry them, they will definitely check. Nyimu jongolati, nyimbuga futu. But for example, let me say, ika mojele Gambia, abe modo nyini namba mange sama bake, sama. Ibe mo nyini ne ko he nyimu jongolati, because ngajele hani sign. Like in Basse Sarahulolia, hani B Sarahulol from the Makono, Dolmu Jongoti, iko dol mu forol leti ñil bu kañu fam futu bari nga sarahulewol jele mili alon koy nata tubabu e tubabo futu bari nene ma moy la kabilo kono go tubabo ñim fo jongolomba fo forolom nene ma o moy it doesn't matter now because one is their advantage of getting a paper and ya mutafananko it is an easy way for them to leave. Maybe they could get money or whatsoever, but you know, way interest. So nobody talks about ko tubabo. Okay, tubabo ni numolo man. And tubabo fanale numoso. There are tubabo miliaron ko they are Smiths. You know, tubabo le original busa also to le. Mil fanale ko wolka ke family business le famoti. Ikaje family kabri mumu. Ay buse yake ay ala company ndingo set. Ate dingo ina wodingo ina so they continue like that. Wolbe tubabo kono jam. Bari ndesda Gambia ngala fi mo dingo nyinina iko he nyimu fuloleti malon sanawya jongolom fo forolom abuka jongo futu abuka foro futu things like that. But ninte ni tubabo lafta na tubabo na Gambia enje alafta kam futu na family would never ask ite mu foi mu jongoleti foi mu foroleti andun tel ni be mu molleti good morning segulam ntel ni be mu molleti so ibalo na wolati kon tel man believe fangol la man believe fangol so wala na ni Seedy Njie be National Security and Defense Committee ndengamira National Assembly they should be honorable enough Seedy Njie bondije because Seedy Njie is a threat to the national security because momi yalon ko number 4 person God forbid Adama Barrow etama Adama Barrow etama vice president etama na vice president toni is it SB balon for SB jallolom nte bukate tolong nte bukate lonno bawo is ate yate sadol so mo fula bije minule alon ko these are serious national threat wolom Fabakary Tombong Jatta Seedy Njie ni vice president te banko kan president te banko kan bro ñil mo fulol will be in the control of Gambia Seedy Njie ni Fabakary Tombong Jatta look yalo ni president be tamala yalo mo jama malo ikamira do president tamatale sa vice president le marata bankola amarata la nyaati le president ka fenne diala ka fenne hanovama so that he can preside over the country with the consultation of the president aka fenne dial wala na ni president muruta na vice president ka wo hanover le back to the president. It's not coming ko dalo mudrom. Yes, na brother. Hey, bio kaibe afternoon. Okay. South Korea. So aka power. So Seedy Njie ning Fabakary Tombong Jatta. These are serious national threat to the country because these people iman care. What they care is about money. So UDP and Minke, we should definitely clap for UDP because munom walatina banku dingol anyanta reconsideration o kelale alnga ajube munatina with all our kangaroo court because kiti sakona kita political issue Asan Jallow the Chief Justice akafan ni bo jele ako bukata tonyaka wow we are on coffee break wow 3:34 yeah dunia Allah akafan ni bo jele anu Asan Jallow weda ayalom o amalom is my uncle Musa Saidy. Say me that who is that? Isama uncle. Ah, okay, Isama. Okay, Isama, Mr. Dab. So, Seedy Njie janda ka fango korosi back. Adama Barrow Seedy Njie samba National Assembly minna. Wolomu pura etai tinyaro kate ay tiñaro ke ate Adama Barola interest or defend and Seedy Njie be okay kan. He's doing that perfectly. He doesn't care. Momi yalonko atata fangu wuluta sate o minto banku duli yela kodo ka fu nyoma iko alla mol ka wulu bankole to dol ka wulu ni be motorcycle kay be sambala lopitano nyimman fenne fangu soto banku duli yela kodo fay nyoke mamman sakunda nyini ka fen iko mbitanga maternity wodo lo nyili nga ekip Seedy Njie ko min kawol represent wodula ako mu UDP ledi ikanake yen November la foi ko November by November man sakunda ko itelba e balo la je hani bi man sakunda man bero laje bara wodi ata la sate molle ala tundo mol wodi ata wolle wotute buluje ngote la musutita wulula je ndara musutita wulula je foni be tambikan silo kande ala man tankala wala nte kono tarante la musola mbe tambika wo silo kan akotingula amanga samba loptano data wuluje. Maybe the chance is very little. The chance is very little. But fonta la musole fisiata o molti musol mil be odlaba. No. Na muso man fisia wolti. Nte la muso se wulu no loptano wol loptano ida banjul lombang wala anywhere in the world. If ana wo musol fanal ya disafle ka wulu the best hospital of Tübingen. The maternity hospital in Tübingen in Germany. Ni ajenga Tübingen for Altalia Google. One of the best maternity hospital wobe Germany le Tübingen. Mol mi le Tübingen long ali nyininka. Mol ka bole for America ke la musol samana nje wuluwa. It's one of the best maternity hospital in the world. Tübingen. Abe Baden-Württemberg, by Stuttgart, by Reutlingen, by Böblingen. You know, so ni ite altel ba la sate auto. Altel buka wulu dula fama soto. Ninte mu musoti nte be futu wala odula. Nte be boro mi na nke matende kono mala. Am possible because nte te wulu ngata wulu motorcycle kan silo kan wala nga fa. How would I nke ma ita musu do nyini? So wo musol nyante ke mira ba. Seedy Njie la musuti ta wulu la auto. Seedy Njie yal bali wolof tano. Hani bi ni Seedy Njie bi nala je alka bulo ko sal ba fala ko biddo mojo ko biddo dinkendo lon fonkolo. Seedy Njie nyom mo furi wala be keri. But because of position of Mimbabu, because of aka kodindu minsura aka mindiala, a loyal to wole. So, nyim Gambian ko ibe loptano lolaje, ibe wodo lolaje, pour womusol fanal, they need pour you decent wulu okay. Seedy Njie atara minister kan, because of minister de hanyi la ka Seedy Njie la kumo bondano, because minister alone ko, president ni Seedy Njie te manino. Amahani minsi. Seedy Njie protocol tani Adama Barrow tema. He can just go to State House bunda to security ya clear. I do. I ta president waya. I had ya funny ya fire because wo yalong momi mala roll long. Where amutala be maybe be have time full of sabale land la ronga ala muzo na ka ko nyindo dumbi ate odun right natal I ta si office ko mo na the president ate amra wolon president yati barngata ibe bulo la je lumina yala molbe diamule e kay ba fala ko pawale be te bul pawale be bul de tonya lo fo pawate no ya jame bul bi wo hayna be wurla WhatsApp atela man sakunda mo WhatsApp le design ngala support hal moy ngonte Gambia no ha nte malon telu ni you know na je ko mol ka foko weda ya jame fanam be kelal ko Donald Trump. Because if only I don't know, American, honey mil found a carrier from Donald Trump here. So I will be below. Some of them are regretting what man they are fire because Donald Trump muneketa. Yalo mulma America like this past election. Wala na Gambian yanda kan hakilo to back. We need the minority. Need the minority la back. Minority le Donald Trump ganyendi. Tubabul jama babiye American tubabul jama babiye yela karteo fay Kamala Harris le bari minority be kamfari munela ya feel ko if you see the Muslim community for the first time ye finti plainly ye republicanal endorse because muna ne Republicanal endorse because of Gaza war. The Democrats are not doing enough. And Tonyalo, because near Democrats or Juben Wawato, they were in support of Israel. So iko and Trump campaign when I come mbeñin kelo ñim bannale and we tell family alonko Trump be amantra tonya fo kangede bari iko okay mbe Democrats all punish lane ye Democrats all punish lungo minna ibe Trump endorse la the Muslim community in America, and they are very light community. You understand? Latino fanal. The Latins went to endorse Trump. So Trump ye minge atata o minority all no kan. Wala na Gambia ndel ka fo mol ka fo ko ha kari wol ka fo ko ndel after lafita mbe carte o for example mantara UDP bari nali seni bundas bayo londi mbe carte o dilalale yalo ni moyo fo kana oke problem oti it kana sonko boyaka alinye engagement nko Musa lo mu ndella nyaatu nkoti yaje yeminje seni bundas bala Musa le seni karande because a follow yella no min soto muna mu itela sikisa koti ko itela after seni bundas bayo kadi bar Musa o kana kadi anyinka ina kacha alin kana inte minority kelen namba folo na diata mi yete fansum patilo na diata mi yete aybe min fasale o fasa no ndelle be need molla to support us for us to be in that office so that nga Gambia regulate we have to take our time wala nyanta so Seedy Njie la issue be dami Gambian ko lebe moneka fonga loi mbe loi kendo soto no la Gambia nyaadi wala tina UDP be nyin kelo min bela iko nintelu nata la fitale Gambia be a fonge loi ko mbe nga kanya loi ko na fanko be tankala nyaadi le mbe transparent la le ntelte kela komingo access to information barin kan simulo information o kan hani fulanjam mba mi exola na jata kendea bunda yirwa ngana fulo dundi je sabanjam banku di will have access to education kakara yena jube ko tege iko ndelbe land reform kalala Miyalungo is a major problem in the country. Land reform. Especially the people of Combo. Because ni lua sotoreko Combo kolde altella keno mankala Kennedy. Mansakundala kenolo. Ni mutonyin dirolati. Min kumasta kabirin jawara la wato. Kabirin bari jawara la wato fanan alinga korosi de kana fuko ha jawara le nyindundi. Ankana fugo jawara la wato lo ye nyindundi. Ya understand? So woketa no nyaadi le. Jawara ya kenu nyame ako because yirwa bebe na kan kombo jam. Nin sulata kenola mbitala kadisa nela family kan ala kabilo mansakunda e kenola je lafta ka marse o ke je lafta ka karambun ke jam e lafta ka stadium o ke je lafta ka fendo ke jam yalon ko abikela public letati inin kenetiyo le si inin kenetiyo le yafo inin kenetiyo le yafo ninin kenetiyo le yafo yana ye keno chika ye kenetiyo le keno dila mansakunda fana ye kenetiyo nin compensate aka kenu wala nyama with respect bari ya jammenata aka keno luta mol mil diata ya dila forse oka adama baro mobe wolo ne wo obsessed tale with land wo fana nata wo yo sila kilingo le ta so kombon kolu bunati na altelu nyante mira la baki